Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be reading some Christmas themed books. As we are quickly approaching December, I really want to get into the Christmas spirit. As you can see, I'm already decorated, but I really want to read some Christmas books this year and hopefully find some ones that I really enjoy. I don't think in years prior I have really read any. I might have read like a short story here and there, but I typically don't read or buy Christmas books just because I feel like you can only read them during one part of the year, so I don't know how lucky I am to pick them back up. But I have 3 books picked out at this point in time that I want to be reading in this video. One that I'm actually in the midst of, and then one that I have ready on my Kindle to start, so I am so excited. So yesterday I started listening to Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This is, I think, my second book by this author. I had listened to First Time Caller when it came out earlier in the year, and I saw quite a few things about this book and it seemed really cute, so I put it on hold through the library. I started listening to it yesterday. I think I got around an hour in and I am now 5 hours into it and I have around 7 hours left. So I'm making pretty good progress for it just kind of being on in the background while I'm walking my dog or cleaning. Within this book, you are following Nolan and Harriet, and Nolan is a ghost of Christmas past, and his whole job is to the 1st of December every year. He is assigned someone that he has to go through their memories and basically kind of find where they went wrong, their bad decisions, and so he is assigned Harriet. Harriet owns an antique shop and they're really struggling to find out anything that she did wrong. They're going through her memories and they're really just innocent. There's really nothing wrong with anything that she's done, but you slowly kind of see that maybe they're uncovering some things about Nolan's past, and so far it's really, really sweet. I'm enjoying it a lot. I definitely think that the magical realism in this is unique and something different that I haven't really read about in a book like this before. I feel like if you like Ashley Poston's books where they have that magical realism aspect, you might enjoy this one. This one is explained a little bit more, but they definitely both have that real world magical realism romance aspect. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoy reading about Harriet. She seems just very sweet. She is very much a people pleaser and wants to make accommodations for other people even at her own expense. So I'm really interested to see if she has any character growth, how she progresses as a character. I'm looking forward to that. But I'm definitely going to keep listening to this. I'm enjoying it quite a bit so far. And then I do on my Kindle have The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year queued up. This is by Ally Carter. This was really, really popular last year. I know a lot of people read it. It is almost like a Knives Out, cozy mystery, romance kind of vibe going on. So I really don't even know a ton about this. I read the synopsis very, very briefly this morning and I was like, oh, I wasn't really expecting that. But I think that these are, I'm like not even 100% sure. I think they're 2 authors and they both write murder mysteries. They're both really popular, but then there's someone that's like above them that's really, really popular. So they're both brought to this person's house and then that author goes missing, I think, if I like remember what I read this morning when I was like half awake. But I am very, very excited. I know so many people loved this last year and I am really hoping to enjoy this as well. Something a little bit different with that little mystery aspect and with the romance as well. So I'm hoping to start this today and maybe get some ways into it, but I'm really not sure. I have some other decorations I want to put up, so we'll see how far I get. If anything, I'm more likely to listen to Good Spirits today, but I am so excited to read these books. I cannot wait. And I'm just very, very excited. So I do have one other book picked out that I don't have yet, but I know I'll be getting the physical copy of in about a week. I don't remember the exact title. I just know it's by Hannah Grace and it's a new release. So I'm very excited for that. So I will see you guys whenever I update next. I am just very, very excited to begin these books and to continue them. So I'll see you guys whenever I update next. Hi, everybody. It is honestly quite a while later, but I have slowly but surely listening. I have slowly but surely worked my way. Okay. I have slowly but surely worked my way through Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, and I finally finished listening to it today. I feel like it took me a long time. It took me around a week. So I guess not really that long, but to me that felt like a long time. I gave this book 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed it and I had a great time listening to it. And I feel like the story was just very sweet. It's that like perfect kind of like perfect amount of feel good with like a good amount of character development that you see within Harriet. I really enjoyed her as a character and I felt like her story was very interesting and compelling to follow along with and see her journey and how she's kind of taking back her voice and sticking up for herself. I think that was a great thing to see in this book and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I think Harriet and Nolan had such a sweet relationship. I thought it was just so enjoyable to read. A great book to put you in the holiday spirit and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so sweet, so heartwarming. I just had a really great time listening to this. I really have not read any of The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, mostly because I was reading this other book and I really just wanted to get through that. So I'm hopefully going to focus on reading It's the Most Wonderful Crime of the Year now and get my way through that. I'll see you guys whenever I update next, which is hopefully soon. Hi guys, it is a couple days later and I have a little bit of progress made. I officially started reading Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. I am 128 pages in, so I'm around I think 30% in. You are following our main female character, Clara Davenport, and she is a part of the family that has made Davenport Toys. It started out as a small toy company and has grown into this very big company. And you see that she is working for Davenport Company, and within this, she has started a small business section where they basically take small businesses under their wing, help them produce toys and everything. But she has been away from that section for the past year, and when she was away, whoever was running that section contacted Jack, who is the creator of a doll named Holly. And when Jack declines their offer, whoever was running it pitches the idea to the Davenport Company and they start making a ripoff of the toy that Jack has made. Clara is sent to the small town that Jack lives in to win over the town and to win over Jack and kind of make amends when someone in the town makes a viral video saying that Davenport ripped off their toy. So you're basically following along on that journey of Clara just trying to get back into their good graces. I don't really have a ton of opinions so far on it. I think it's interesting so far. You definitely have that grumpy sunshine aspect where Jack is very closed off to Clara after realizing who she is and kind of like what she was sent there to do, even though she's just trying to be really helpful and become acclimated into the town. I am really interested to see where it continues. So far, it's fairly sweet. I don't really have like a ton of thoughts. The town is very small, very close knit. So I'm just interested to see. I do have a couple predictions as to where it's going to go or how it's going to proceed, but I did start reading It's the Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, and then I did start to listen to it, but I just had a lot of trouble for some reason. I just really was struggling to get into it and to feel interested. So instead I started listening to Bright Lights Big Christmas by Mary Kay Andrews. This is the first ever book I'm reading from this author. It's a pretty short audiobook. It's around 8 hours. I've seen a lot of her covers, but I really have never been like super interested in one of the stories, but I saw this one is about a girl named Carrie and her family runs a Christmas tree farm in North Carolina, and every year her dad and her brother go to New York City and sell Christmas trees on the one corner. However, her dad is no longer able to go, so Carrie takes his place, and her brother are living out of this very small like RV that's parked in the street selling Christmas trees. And you're just following along with that. It's a little bit of a romance because you also see that one of the neighbors that lives on that street is a single dad, and you see that his son is very interested in the Christmas tree business, and so they're interacting more, getting to know each other a little bit more. So again, I really don't have like a ton of opinions on either of these so far. I'm only like 2 hours into the audiobook, and again, not super far into this. I'm going to try to keep reading and get quite a bit more. I would love to get around 200 pages in within the next couple of days if I'm able to. There's 360 pages, so hopefully I'm able to make some progress. But that's my update for now. I just kind of wanted to pop in and say hi and update on where I'm at. Yeah, that's all I have to say for now. I'll see you guys whenever I update again. Hi everybody, it is a couple days later. I have finished all the books that I wanted to for this video. I did want to sit with my thoughts before filming a final wrap up of what I thought of each of these books. I'm fairly certain that I gave my final thoughts on Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, so I'm going to talk about the other audiobook that I listened to for this video, which was Bright Lights Big Christmas by Mary Kay Andrews. This was my first ever book by this author. I have seen a lot, I think, of books by this author, but I have never really been super interested in them. This one came up on my Hoopla, I think, when I was looking through some Christmas books. I thought it sounded cute, so I decided to give it a try. We're following Carrie, and she is the daughter of a Christmas tree farm owner. Every year, her brother and her dad go to New York City to sell the trees that they grow on their farm in North Carolina. However, due to some health complications, their dad cannot go this year, so Carrie, who has recently been laid off from her job, decides to go with her brother. They park on the side of the road in this like old Shasta they call Spammy, and they basically just live there for the month of December selling Christmas trees. And with this, you see that Carrie's brother is very set in his ways, and same with like the dad's ways of their approach to selling the trees, and Carrie is trying to come up with some different ways to make money. They're really relying on this time and this month to make a lot of their money, so you see the pressure that they're feeling. This book though does have an aspect of romance, but I really honestly do not think that the romance should have been any part of the story at all whatsoever, mostly because it was just awkward and uncomfortable and really just felt very, very unnatural to me to listen to experience along with them. It just really did not make sense at all. With this book, you come across this cast of characters that live, I think they're in the Upper East Side or West Village. I can't remember exactly which, section of New York this takes part of. There's the two like restaurant owners, so you see that Carrie and her brother are often going there to get food. There's the people that let them use their shower. There's the single dad with his son. This older man that comes and encounters Carrie and kind of critiques her little artwork that she's doing as she's at the stall. So it's a little kind of cast of characters. It is very reminiscent of like what I would imagine a Hallmark movie, like a Christmas Hallmark movie to be like. But that added romance aspect just was so unnecessary in my opinion. I think this book honestly would have been a little bit more enjoyable if there just wasn't that aspect of like odd, awkward romance lingering. Overall, nothing really like stood out to me super crazily. I think it was an interesting premise of having these people that aren't from New York City but are selling their trees there. It's a family business. So I think that was interesting in its concept. I just feel like the execution was not the best. I did give this book 2.5 stars as well, I will add. The next book that I finished was Holiday Ever After by Hannah Grace. I have read Hannah Grace's other 3 books. I really don't feel like I have a super definitive opinion on her books. I remember reading Icebreaker and it was very, very different from like what I was expecting. And then I think I enjoyed Wildfire for the most part, and then Daydream was not bad, I think. I thought it was like okay. This one though, I really don't have too many notes on. This book follows Clara or Clara, I'm not sure which one it is, but she is the daughter of a very, very big toy making company. Her grandfather started the company, her dad really built it up, and so she has been working in the company for basically her entire life, whether it was, you know, working in like a mailroom when she was 17 to working her way up, and she really wants to be the head of innovations. And there is the possibility that a promotion will open up soon with someone retiring. If I'm not mistaken, she works in PR or something with, I don't think it's marketing, but she was basically the creator of this small business partnership within the company where they take on small businesses and help them, you know, produce their toys, and they kind of take on like the legal side of everything, and I guess more of like the business aspect of it, so that the small businesses can just focus on producing their toys. Clara was away for a year working in another department while someone was out, and you learn that whoever was taking over for her in this small business section just completely like did a terrible job with this one business and offered them basically, I don't know exactly like what they offered. They never really talk about what it was, but basically, I'm not sure if they would just have to give up everything, something along the lines. And not only did they offer them a terrible deal, but when the small business denied, Clara's family business ended up just completely ripping off their design, but making it a lot more cheap and just not as good quality. But then one of the townspeople spoke out about this, and it basically just created a huge PR nightmare for Davenport. So Clara's dad basically is like, you need to go to this town and do whatever it takes to get these videos taken down, and if you do, maybe you'll get the promotion. The promotion will be yours. And when she first gets there, everyone is a little bit distrustful of her, just a tad bit, but no one more than Jack, who is the main male character in this book. He like really, really dislikes Clara and is very, very, very distrustful of her. And you basically just see her come up with this plan and trying to win the town people over. But while she's there, she's very much falling in love with the town and developing feelings for Jack. Can't even say that like I didn't like this. I thought it was interesting, but at the same time, I just also feel like it would have been a little bit more interesting, I guess, to maybe, I know that this whole thing is a romance book and there is a lot of plot in this book, but I just feel like the way that Jack thought of her in the beginning and the thoughts and the way he was treating her just was not nice, like really not nice. And I get that he is distrustful of her and her family business just because of what they did to him personally, basically like, you know, stealing his design and everything. It was just really, really, really rude. And you see that she's like, I did not have any part in that. Like, I would never have let that happen if I had known. Even with that knowledge in her, like, of course he's gonna be distrustful, but it was just like, you're gonna then have like that be the whole backing of the romance, is this knowledge of how he thought about her and how he kind of treated her. Also, there were so many characters and names in this book that I could not keep track of who was who. Sometimes they would say a name and I thought it was one person, and then it was not that person I was thinking of. So it just felt like there was just a cast of characters that were supposed to be almost like stereotypes or like caricatures of what, you know, is supposed to be like a small town. But then I just didn't really care about the side characters at times. So I think the ending and like the growth and the development that Clara went through within like herself and how she was allowing people to treat her was a satisfying ending in that sense. For it being a holiday romance, not bad. I think I would probably rate it around a 3-star. I wouldn't give it anything higher, I don't think, but it wasn't bad. Not like my favorite, but so those were the 3 books that I read in this video. I had quite a bit of fun reading these holiday books. I definitely think it helped get into the holiday spirit. If you guys have read any of these books, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!